Um, we had to go to the emergency room with the littles. I said the emergency room, but I misspoke, Miss Suzanne. It was the urgent care with the littles today. So it's been kind of crazy here. Let me just tell you, it's been a little crazy here. All right. Today we're talking about all of the grief that no one talks about, the parts that you never admit out loud, not because they're not true, not because you're scared of what people would think if they knew. Oh, I wish it had been me. I feel relieved that they're gone. At least they're no longer in pain. I don't want to be here without them. Like literally saying those things that we would never say to anyone else. These are thoughts that we hide, even from ourselves. And hiding them doesn't make them go away. It doesn't make them go away. We can't filter them out. We can't be polite about them. They are absolutely true thoughts, and we believe that they are true feelings that we have. And because we believe that they are so true, it hinders us from moving on in our grief. It holds our grief back, friends. When I tell you it's holding your grief back, it's absolutely holding your grief back, especially with you not being willing to share it. Especially with you not being willing to share it at all. Okay, so let's get into it. One second, guys. My camera's playing tricks on me. Oh, why it wants to do it that way? All right, here we go. Thank you. For all of you that are new, my name is Sharon Brubaker, and I'm a grief specialist. I lost my nephew Austin. He drowned at the lake in 2006. I've been sitting at the feet of grievers for over 18 years. I teach an educational program on grief and loss, and I teach women how to move beyond the pain. I teach women how to move beyond the pain of grief. I want to talk to you today. I want to talk to each and every one of you today about the parts of grief that no one admits out loud. Because we're trained from the moment we are born to be appropriate, to smile, to say thank you. We are taught to nod in agreement and to hide the messy parts. To hide the messy parts. To hide the messy parts of our heart. To not tell the truth. Even as small little children. I want to tell you guys something today. I had to take the twins into urgent care. After Tony and I did it together. After the twins went into urgent care, we decided to go to the McDonald's. And this is a really rude example, but I have to show it to you. Even me thinking it was a rude example. I mean, he was a child. He's 3 years old. We went into Wendy's to have dinner. There was a gentleman who was struggling to walk. Callaway, who was 3 years old, looked over at the guy and he said to Tony, he said, Papa, what is he doing? What is he doing? The guy was literally struggling to walk, and Callaway had never seen anybody like that. And so he questioned his grandfather. And right away, Tony goes, don't say that. Don't say that. Be nice. But here's the truth, and not in a mean way. I just want to throw this out there. He was being honest. He was being honest about what he was seeing. He was seeing a man who was struggling to walk. Why is he walking so funny? Why is he doing that? Like in his 3-year-old little brain, he didn't get it. But what does Tony do? Instead of explaining to him what is going on, he tells him not to say that. How many times have we leaned down to our little 3-year-olds and told them not to say that? How many times have we told them not to say that when they started to cry? Stop that crying. Stop that crying. Let me tell you, I wanted to do it 500 times today. But what I've been doing now, when they break out into that cry fit, are you sad? Are you mad? Are you angry? And as for Kara, she'll grab onto an emotion and she'll share it with me, right? But how did I ruin my own children? By not allowing them to have the space of the emotions, right? So I want to talk about that. Grief is the messiest thing out there. If we can't take a 3-year-old little boy and allow him to say the honesty of what he's seeing, how are we going to let him feel what he's feeling? How are we not going to correct him out of that? Grief is the messiest thing out there. It doesn't come to your house polite. It doesn't have bows. It is not dressed up. It doesn't have a tie. It comes in like a tornado and it rips the roof off. It comes in like a tornado and it rips the roof off. It doesn't care that you don't have money to pay for the roof. It doesn't care that you're struggling now. It doesn't care that that was your favorite person. I'm not talking about the grief that you posted on Facebook, the thing that you wrapped up in a bow and the parts you're willing to share. That's not what I'm talking about. Those beautiful quotes that you guys find and you repost them because they touch your heart and it feels really good. So you repost it, which I think is great. By all means, keep posting those. But what I am talking about are the thoughts that you're not willing to share with anybody. The people, the truth about what you thought about them. How terrified you are. The truth about what you thought about them and your relationship. Telling the truth about your relationship and what place it was really in. It is absolutely easy for us to make our relationship out to be something perfect when our person dies. One of the parts of doing our grief work is going down deep into our heart and telling the truth about our relationship. Telling the truth about our relationship and telling the truth about who we are, who we were with them. How many of you have thought this thought? I wish it had been me. I wish it was me. Or how many of you had this thought? I'm so relieved they're gone. I'm so relieved they're gone. That's a thought that I had when my dad died. I had that thought when my dad died. How many of you had the thought, I don't want to be here without them? And don't you dare tell me you've not had one of those, because I know the truth. I've been doing this for over a decade, and I've sat across from thousands of broken hearts, and almost every single one of them has at least one of these thoughts. They'd never admit to their best friend. They sure as hell aren't going to tell their children. They're not going to tell their pastor. Sometimes they don't even tell the therapist or even themselves. How many of you have had this thought? I don't want to be here anymore. I just don't want to be here anymore. I can't be here without him. I don't want to be here anymore. Really pointing back to not wanting to be here. These are our grief confessions. We swallow when we think these because we're afraid of judgment. I don't want to be here anymore. And we do that hard swallow. We're afraid someone will smack us right across the forehead with a label. We're afraid that they're going to decide that we're bad, or that we're wrong, or that we're ungrateful, or that we're weak, or that we're unstable. But let me tell you about those thoughts. Those thoughts are a part of the grief language that has to be spoken. Thank you, Miss Erica. They're a part of the grief language that has to be spoken. They are the evidence that you are not broken. They are the evidence that you are human. So let's start right now. I want you to drop into the comments one thought you've been carrying that you've never said out loud. One thought you've been carrying that you never said out loud. When my nephew Austin drowned, I remember sitting on the floor. I totally remember sitting on the floor. And I remember thinking, I thought this twice. But you know what? I thought this twice. I thought when Austin died, I can't do this. I can't do this. But let me tell you about when it came up when Donovan died. It started with, I don't think I'll survive this. I can't do this. I don't want to do this. I don't know if I can do this. Oh God, please help me. I don't know if I can do this. And if everyone thought that I was crazy for thinking that, or you think you're crazy for thinking it, I want you to know that it is grief. And those are grief thoughts. Why is God so cruel? Amazing. If I could have gone with her. I wish he could have shared how he felt. I hate that I didn't know how much my granddaughter suffered before she passed. I wish it was me and not him. Friends, when I tell you grief doesn't come with a moral filter, it doesn't come with a moral filter. Grief does not come. Some capital letters, some not. It doesn't come with a moral filter. It doesn't care. It doesn't care who you are. Thank you, babe. Thank you, babe. Thank you, Miss Maureen. It doesn't care who you are. It is going to come in and bulldoze you. It doesn't come with a moral filter. It never did. It had no intention of doing that. And so here we are trying to be all gentle and soft with our grief. We're trying to soften up our grief for other people. It's raw. It's primal. It's the body and the brain trying to make sense of something that will never make sense. It is the body and the brain trying to make sense of something that will never make sense. But here's the problem. And this is why I'm doing this live. When you hide your thoughts, they don't disappear. When you hide the thoughts, they don't disappear. They sit back in the dark and they grow frickin' teeth and they turn into shame. And that shame will eat you alive. It'll eat you alive. Okay. We said it's a full body experience. It happens in your heart. But here are the thoughts. They're your grief thoughts. And they're coming at 100 miles an hour. And you have people coming through the door, coming to talk to you, coming to share with you. You're not sharing the thoughts with them. You're not sharing the thoughts with them. You're trying to find a place to hide these freaking thoughts. What the hell am I going to do with these thoughts? And so you start putting them into this box. And you wrap it up with a bow. And you think at some point you can take this and neatly pack it away and that everything is going to be okay. But that's not what happened. You may be able to do this and you may be able to put it on the top shelf, but it will follow you around. Cynthia said it's just like a soda bottle on the bottom of a car. It will eventually explode. It turns into shame, and the shame will eat you alive. Friends, I want to tell you something right now. I quickly wrote, not quickly, but my book's coming out, that Grieve That Shit. But I wrote the ebook because I wanted you guys to know what the shit was before the book comes out. Go to the link in my bio, click on the link that says click here for hope, and download that grief shit. What is the shit? This is part of the shit. The stuff we're not willing to say, the stuff we're not willing to say out loud is part of the shit. Here's another thing, that some of those unspoken grief thoughts don't even sound sad. Sometimes they're full of rage. Sometimes the thoughts are full of rage. That looks like rage to me. I don't know about you guys. But sometimes the thoughts that are coming from our brain is rage. Some of us are so mad, we don't know what to do with these grief thoughts. This is why it becomes embarrassing, because they sound so awful. Why did you leave me to clean up all this shit? You've ruined my life. You have ruined my life. And the minute you start to think something like that, you panic. Because what kind of person am I to think about someone that I love this way? What about the fact that you're like, well, I'm glad you're gone. I hated you anyway. What if that's your truth? What if that's your truth? The minute you think it, you panic. Because what kind of person says something like that about someone they love? The kind of person who's human. Because if we're human, we're going to tell the truth. And if we're telling the truth, we're going to say the ugly things. Now, we're definitely saying them to ourselves. But what happens to those? I want you to know that the kind of person that says that is the exact person that has been ripped in two. She's been ripped into two. And the two is before the death and after. And for most of us, she can't even see this. She can't see into the after. She's not there yet. Are they just thoughts and not real? They are thoughts. They feel real, Trisha. They feel real. And for most grievers, they're not understanding that they're just thoughts. Hey, Bella Red. The kind of person who's human, the kind of person who's been ripped into two, the kind of person who's been asked to survive something that should have never happened. Okay, I'm going to take a break from my class right now because Trisha said, aren't they just thoughts? So here's the deal. Trisha, you are 100% right. They are just thoughts. But how many of you have thought a thought? And when I said to you, is that true? Yes, it's true. She never came home on time from work. It's true. She never came home on time. I hated her because she never came home on time from work. So you're telling me she never came home on time? She couldn't make any of your games. She didn't get to go to any of your cooking shows. She never came home on time. It is a thought. And when you think this thought, this grief thought, right? This grief thought, when you think this grief thought that she never came home on time, what emotion is showing up in your heart? Mad, angry, frustrated. When I think she never came home on time, I get mad. So for a lot of us, I think it was Trisha, for a lot of us, Trisha, we don't realize that these are grief thoughts. Here's the deal. A lot of us don't want to feel this. We don't want to feel this. I did turn the cam. Turn the cam around. Why is it not turned? It is. Is it right now? Y'all keep screaming, turn the cam. I thought I did. Now it's backwards. It was fine. No, turn it back. All right, y'all. I knew I turned it. Okay. This feels like the grief. This feels like the grief. We start concentrating and ruminating on this. And when we're ruminating on the thought that she never came home in time, it looks like this. And every time we're ruminating, it sends a feeling. Ruminate, emotion, thought, ruminate, emotion. But we don't want to be mad. We don't want to be mad. We don't want to be angry. We don't want to be sad. We don't want to be lonely. So we don't want to feel this. So as long as we're staying here, we don't have to feel this. And this is the grief. The emotions are the grief. 99.9% of the time, you never have an emotion without a thought. You never have an emotion without a thought. Suzanne, she's so cute. The other thing is, if I can concentrate on this, I can concentrate on the fact that she never came home on time. Guess where I'm not at? I'm not at that. It's this versus that. I can spend all my time on this. And that is that grief shit. That is the shit. That is the shit that we don't want to deal with. Because it's ugly, it's messy, it stinks. It's thick, it's heavy, and we got to walk through it. And we don't want to walk through it. So we want to stay in the grief thought. We want to stay right here. It's comfortable in the grief thought. The grief thought, don't give Sharon grief over the camera. The grief thought is the parts that feel safe. No one has taught us how to go through these emotions. And that's why staying in the thought is so much better. Grief isn't polite. It'll send you a thought that makes you gasp. And then it will send you another one right behind it. Thought. And you're supposed to fight them. And you're supposed to fight them and bring them into the light. What if it's one thought that's so freaking heavy, you're so embarrassed to even share it? What if it's just one thought that to you and I seems simple, seems easy? What if it's only one thought? Why didn't I answer the phone? Why didn't I get there on time? Why didn't I just pick up the phone? Why didn't I get there on time? What if it's even simpler than this? What if it's just this? What if it's just why? What if the thought is just why? We can stay in why for days, weeks, and months. Why didn't I answer the phone? What if this thought seems really simple to you and I, but it is the whole freaking world to her? Why did I leave the hospital? Why did I leave the hospital? I should have stayed. I should have stayed. I should have stayed. To a lot of us, the thoughts seem simple. He wouldn't want you to stay. Come on now. You know he wouldn't want you to be there crying. He wouldn't want you to stay there. It sends you a thought that makes you gasp, and then it'll send you another one, and then it'll send you another one right behind it. And the whole time it's sending you the thoughts, you know what you're doing? You're punching back. You're resisting. You're reacting. You're avoiding because you don't want to go down into these thoughts. You don't want to go down into this grief, and you're embarrassed to share them. I can't even tell you how many times I've worked with grievers that are going along on the grief path, which seems so simple. They're going along on the grief path, and then all of a sudden, they seem to stop. They seem stuck. They stop showing up. They stop doing their work. They're not answering my phone calls. They just stop. And I want to tell you that 9 times out of 10, it is a thought about their relationship with their person that has them stuck. And sometimes it's something that's really embarrassing and they don't want to share it. Sometimes it's something that's really embarrassing. And I have a way to help you through that, but sometimes it's really embarrassing. This is exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm giving you guys a lecture. Tomorrow, I'm going to do a lecture in Zoom where I'm going to do some live coaching. And that's in the grief study hall. In the grief lecture hall tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is where you can come in the room with me, where we get to hear other women speak their words, the things that they've been afraid of to talk about. And that's tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and it's lecture hall. Click the link in the bio that says click here for hope and join me in the lecture hall tomorrow. It's going to be in a Zoom, and I'll actually be able to coach you in your grief and answer questions. I actually have some questions that have already been submitted, just a few this week. So tell me right now, what's one thought you've been holding back? And you don't have to write it in the chat. Think about it. I want you to think about that thought. Sometimes those thoughts are forbidden. Sometimes we weren't supposed to think them. Maybe they're thoughts about the future that you don't think is fair. Don't speak ill will of the dead, meaning let's not tell the truth. Let's not tell the truth. Let's not be there with them. Suzanne says, is that an intellectual grief storm? Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. A grief storm is where you get one thought after another, after another, after another. What makes it the storm is that every thought is sending an emotion, and every emotion is heavier than the last. And as the emotions are coming, it almost feels like it's going to break you down. Almost, it does break you down. And for a lot of us, one of the things that we do is we change the subject. We do anything we can to change the subject. Anything. So I had a client whose husband died of a long battle with ALS. She loved him so much, so deeply. But when he died, she honestly told me when she woke up in the morning that she felt free. She felt free because of the 24/7 care that she was having to get him. The 24/7 care. And she also said something else to me. It took me a while to get her there, but she also said something else to me. She said that her husband was no longer there. Her husband was no longer there. There was a shell that she was taking care of, and she was meeting his needs and keeping his clean and changing his pants, his soiled pants, and trying to feed him and giving him all the IVs and all the medication and all the things she needed. But now she didn't have to do the 24/7 care. She didn't have to do the physical lifting. She didn't have to do the paperwork. She didn't have to remember by herself if the bills were paid, if the cell phone was paid. She didn't have to continue watching him ache and watching him die in front of her. And then the guilt came in. She finally said the thing out loud, and then she felt guilty. She wanted to know if it meant she didn't love him anymore. Does it mean I don't love him anymore? Does it mean I never loved him? And no, it doesn't mean any of that. It means you're human. It means you're telling your truth. It means that taking care of him was really hard. That's what it means, that taking care of him was really hard. Grief is complicated. You can feel relief and sorrow in the same breath as love, as grief, as crying, as wanting them back. You can still feel relief and pain. And if no one has given you permission to feel both, I want to tell you it's okay. Feel the shame. Feel the relief. Feel the sorrow. I'm giving you permission right now. Suzanne says some of these are thoughts that we do have when they're dying. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Sometimes the thoughts can be, man, what a jerk. It can be anything like that, right? Friends, if you need more permission, if you need any more permission, if you need the tools, if you need a community to grieve, the best place to do that is coming up September 25th, 26th, 27th, and 28th. Click the link in the bio and click on the link that says Forever Changed Intensive Weekend. It is not a retreat. It is the place that we're coming to do the grief work. It is the place that we're coming to be with to be with other grievers where we can finally start healing, where we can finally start healing from our broken heart. The difference with this one is it's done in person. The difference with this one is you're going to get the hug. The difference from this one is you get me, Erica, and Sheila. You're going to get 3 of us. Missy, can I privately speak with you? Yes. Click on the link in the bio. That says click here for hope. And then you're going to go to the thing that says click here for hope, and you're going to tap on the link that says bookings. If you go into the Forever Changed and go to the bottom, there's a link in there as well. We're going to go deep. We're going to cry, but we're going to hug, and we're going to love, and we're going to spend time together. So let me ask you this. If you could walk out of that weekend and I take your shame from you and I keep it from you, the shame you've been carrying, would you do that? If you could walk out and leave the grief pain behind, would you do that? If you could walk out taller, ready to speak about your person, really ready to speak about your person, would you do that? If you don't deal with this stuff, your thoughts about your grief will start to define you. You will start believing that you're the bad widow, that you're the cold-hearted daughter, that you're the weak one, that there's no one here to support you. And I'm telling you, it's going to change the trajectory of your life, your entire life. And now I want to tell you this. You don't have to live here. I promise you, friends, there's a way to stop being owned by these thoughts and by this grief. But it starts with dragging them into the light, sharing them, and saying them. So here's what I want you to know. What's the scariest grief thought you've ever thought? I want you to grab a hold of it. I want you to grab a hold of it. I want you to put it in the forefront of your mind right now. I want you to hold on to it. Maybe it's something simple like why. Maybe it's something simple like why did I leave? Why didn't I answer the phone? I can't do this. I'm so glad he's gone. Here's the truth, friends. You can't heal from what you won't face. And the reason most people's grief lasts a lifetime isn't because the love was so big. It's because the pain of that thought was never processed. So on the count of 3, we're all going to say our thoughts. We're all going to say our ugly thoughts. I'm not going to hear you, but we're all going to say the ugly thoughts. 1, 2, 3. I was relieved that you were gone. I felt okay with you not being in pain. I instantly regretted that decision. Saying the thought is not about someone coming in to fix it. Saying the thought is about giving you a place to release it. Friends, I wrote an ebook called That Grief Shit. What we are grieving is the shit. Go to the link in my bio and download That Grief Shit. The amazing thing about That Grief Shit is that every day you will get an email with a video in it where I actually teach the chapter. I teach brain dumps in there. I teach the grief shit. I teach what the shit is. What is the shit? It's in there, and I break it down for you. So we have lecture hall, which is tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'd love to see you all in there. Click the link in the bio that says click here for hope and download and sign up for the lecture hall. Here's the other thing. If you can't make it tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, sign up anyway because you'll get the video emailed to you after the event. Forever Change Weekends is for anyone that is ready to do their work in person. You're ready to meet with me. You're ready to meet with Erica. Erica is the mother of Austin and Donovan, the story that I mostly share with you guys. She's my baby sister. She lost Austin in 2006. He drowned at the lake on Father's Day weekend. She lost Donovan in 2015. Here's the book that she wrote on it. Here's my book that I spilled coffee on yesterday. Ooh, pages are stuck together. The bio, the book is linked in the Click Here for Hope. Loving, Losing, and Living. It's a great book. It's an easy read. I read it in one night. I definitely read it in one night. Here's what she wrote to me. Sister, I didn't know where I would be if you hadn't committed to saving me. I truly appreciate you and all that you have done for me. Love, your much younger, prettier sister, Erica. And then I took the pen from her and I scratched out prettier. No way is she getting that. There's no way she's getting that. So here's your choice. You can keep carrying this unspoken grief. You can keep walking with this pain. You can keep these thoughts until they rot you from the inside out. Or you can come into the room with me. You can come into the room with Erica and sit with us and let us help you unwrap this mess that you've got going on that we call grief. We're going to talk about thoughts. We're going to talk about what you're afraid of. We're going to talk about the things you don't want to hear. We are going to be gut-wrenchingly honest with you. We're going to be like, no, sister, no, you're not doing that. We're going to help you pull it out. And then we're going to send you back into the world different. You will never be the woman you were before the loss. You never will be. You will be forever changed. I promise you, our losses change us. They change us forever. We never go back to being the person we were before the loss occurred. So click the link in the bio. There's so many things that I've let you know. 1, download that grief shit. It's easy. It's going to download right to your phone and you can read it and you'll get the emails, which include a video training, 3 to 5 minute training video from me. Come to Lecture Hall tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you cannot make it, sign up for it anyway, because you'll be on the list and you will get the copy of the lecture hall. If you're ready to do your work, click on the link that says Forever Change Intensive Weekend and sign up for the intensive weekend there, which is September 25th, 26th, 27th, and 28th. Missy, I hope you found the link. I hope you found the link. And if you didn't find the link, I want you to email me at Sharon@thegriefschool. Sharon@thegriefschool.com. And I will send you the link there. All right, friends. Thank you for allowing me to be here tonight. Thank you for allowing me to be in front of you and sharing all of this grief, sharing about all of this grief and how ugly and how dirty it is, how mean it is, how mean and how mean it is, and how it just tears us apart. Absolutely just tears us apart. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, my friends. Thank you for being here.